So continuing the Tosfos, Gimel on base. So Ksav Kasav Yado Ve'ein Alav Eidim. So this is the first case. So again, Rashi holds that this is the first case is where V'chad Manayu Ein Alav Eidim. Right, so this is Rashi's case of where we're proving that we don't need Eidim at all. Ein Alav Eidim. Now, Tosfos time at the apostle. Why does he say it's possible? Right, Tosfos has kind of said already that it's not possible because we have Ein Lechachatim Getul Mizu. Mishum Yochel Lechtov Zman, because he can put the time in. Now, Zman is one of the other psulim, the Im Nisus of Lad Kosher. Yeshalav Eidim v'Ein Bo Zman. So Ein Bo Zman is one of the psulim, which we'll see what exactly this issue is. So he can just write whatever Zman he wants. There's no Eidim on the star to prove. So since he's writing it in his own handwriting, he can put whatever date he wants on it. So it's like a shar doesn't have Zman. So we have two reasons why a get without a star is possible. Now what's this case of el bas achuto? Is that a guy marries his niece. And it's dafka his niece because when you're divorcing people, usually you hate the woman by now. Once you're in the divorce throes, you're giving a get, you're gonna hate her. So if she's gonna die, you're all too happy to see her being killed. But if the guy marries his niece, and his niece was mezana tachtav, she had relations while they were married, so then he can kind of predate the get to before she was, before the time that she had znus. Obviously there's Eidim on the znus, and they know when the znus happened. So you predate the get to, or you say without a time, without his man, and said basically you were already divorced by then. And the reason why you want to do it with your niece is because a normal wife, you'd be like, kill her, or I hate her. So this marrying the niece, you're like, oh, I'll be happy to save her life, even though she was mizana tachtav. So you need a zman in the get. So So also you have exactly the same takana here for the guy writing the get. So again, this is all kosher b'di'evet, but it's possible lechatchila. The second reason, the tiknu zman mishum piri. So because of peros. So a woman brings in basically two things into the marriage, her assets. She has nechsei tzon barzel, which basically means he gives her back to her the full value, whatever happens in the meantime. So it's basically he already owns them, and he just has to give her the value of it. So let's say she comes in with a car that's worth 10,000 shekels. Then they put that car into the kesuva. They write it in the kesuva, and they might even put the value of it up. And then he has to give her back, even if the car is an absolute wreck. They've been married for 30 years, and this car that was worth 10 grand, 30 years ago, he still has to give her 30,000, whatever. He still has to give her the value that it was as it came into the marriage. That's called tzon barzel because it's like iron; it doesn't depreciate. And then you have normal assets. We don't do that in our kesuvas. Bring her assets and put in the kesuva. So we have in general. She brings her assets in, and they're called nechsei malug. The nechsei malug means to pluck. Even the guy he keeps on plucking. So the simple case, she brings a tree. She owns the tree, and he gets all the apples from the tree. So if she brings in a car, he can drive the car, rent it out, and at the end of the marriage, he gives her back the car, whatever it's worth. If it's a banger at that stage, it's appreciated. So, well, it's your car. He doesn't have a price on it, but he gets all the peros. Now, when does he get the peros? Until he gets the peros until they get divorced. Until basically he gives her the get. Then he gets the peros. Once he gives her the get, he doesn't get the peros anymore. So now, if he predates the get, so what we'll see. So kasha l'ri machashash yesh. So the zman is because of piri, so that because the guy can predate, if the guy predates the get, then she gets more peros, right? He's already. So let's say he does it till the end of January, and he divorces her at the end of February. So really he gets the fruits until the end of February, and then if he dates the get at the end of January, so then he owes her those perus. So seemingly he won't do that, but then they have what's called a konunya, which is where he's in cahoots with her to where he sells the perus in January that he owns, and then they eat it in February, so it was a good sale, but then he predates the get, and then whatever she reclaims, they split between them. So they're making gains on whatever he sold, whatever the perus he sold. So kashalari, ma chashash yesh b'ketzav yado, ve'im yesh lachush sheyakdim zman letoivus ha'isha. So is there a chashash that he's going to put the zman earlier? Afal pi sheba legaresh, even though he's going to divorce her. Velasosi ma konunya. This is how I was explaining. They have the konunya where he's in cahoots with her to screw over the people who bought the perus. Shetikba, she will goiva the mila koichos, the people who bought the stuff already. So usually this will be land. He'll sell land, whatever for the perus, and she'll go get it from the people who bought it. Shemacher lahem perus, bein time meyoto hazman. So from the zman that's written in the get, and the zman that he actually gave it to her to divorce her, hakot of beget, that's the predated zman. It's a bein time between the actual get and the predated get. Ad achshav, kamosha anu choshtem as isha gavi shoiver. So when a woman writes a receipt, we're worried that she's going to predate it and then collect those things, klape the kesuva. So b'sof shnai moksin. So that all the stuff that we're worried about the woman will say about here. Kain lo nismoch alav l'toros lekuchos. So now this is a special get. What's special about this get? It is kesav yado and ve'en alav edim. So any get that's kesav yado ve'en alav edim, the beis din will just not be soymach alav. So any get that comes in, you want to be taken from the lekuchos, then you won't be able to, because the beis din won't enforce it. If the beis din won't enforce it, mizman hakosov bo, even if you put the zman in it, we're not going to enforce it. Right? So if we have this get where we're just not going to enforce this because it's handwritten, and we have a chashash is going to predate it. So Shloimor devatai enu ne'eman. So for sure he's not ne'eman v'lekach posluhu. So Vata in an Emon, he was saying, the beis din is like makabel, that we don't makabel this get. And we're not going to go after this, whatever date that he put in with that A. We're not going to use it. So for sure that's why it's possible. Because sometimes he's going to screw over the woman, shalo kedin. Because sheyichtov habal yom sha'amad bo, he'll put the proper date in, the get, the law yakdim hazman, and he won't put it earlier. Va'az haya lo litrof lekuchos. So he does it at the right time, and she should be getting the fruits back. Mizman hakosov. Because so he's going to put the correct date in the kesuva, in the get. He's going to put the correct date, and she's going to go to try to collect everything that he sold after that date. So again, I can sell a lot of stuff. In January, let's say I sell 3 months in January, and then I give her a get at the end of February. So now she has to go and get March back, but she can't get March back because she goes with this get with the date on it, and we say we don't care about the date because it's a handwritten get with no items. No, so you can't get it. So therefore, she's going to lose. Shehektim izman because we're choishet that the zman is mokdam. So therefore, any date on the get we're not going to abide by. Therefore, this is not a good get. Velekach posluhu. So dahashta bedin lo titrov isha mizman hakotov kevin sheget posel. So therefore, bedin now it's kind of like a circular thing. Even bedin she can't mizman hakotov because it gets a posel. To davka beget kosher we can go over miyun hakotov ve'al yizeh chayishin ve'al yizeh chayishin da'amar hakasiva miyad titfos perus v'tamar shekavar nisgrash mizman hakotov bo. So sorry. V'od yesh loymor. This is the second teretz. The chashinen de acher hakasiva miad. So after written, immediately is grabbing the perus and says that she was already megarish from the Zman Kesovbo. So this Od Yesh Loimar is in a case of where he writes the get, but he hasn't given it to her yet. So Chashin Da'acher Kasiva the get, but he never gave her the get. Yeah, and she's already grabbing the perus when she's not even divorced yet, and says that she's already divorced her from that time, but he only wrote it and he hasn't divorced her yet. Now the question here is, so Kasha Lari, what's the chashash? So if it's the chashosh that Yakdim's man, so then he dealt with that. So where's the other tzad? Ve'im yesh lachush she muuchar man. What if he put the time later? Because if he puts it earlier, he screws himself over and allows the woman to collect from the perus. But if he dates it, then he gets perus for longer than he does. So if he divorces her on the 1st of January and dates at the end of February, so he gets 2 months of extra perus. But Tosis is only has a chashash for the Yakdim's man, and he never has a chashash. Because good look, ma chashash im yesh lechush Yakdim's man, and he never says anything about muuchar's man. And muuchar's man seemingly would be a better thing for the husband to do because the husband just gets extra perus. But Tosis doesn't seem to care about it. Why not? Now, this brings us into the sugya of a get muuchar. What is the din of a get muuchar? So, something that Chan was, this is Tosis here, and Yod Zayin Amud Aleph. Is Shita, so, afilu nasan lola alter, even if he gives her this talking about here, for oimer ri, so the ri says that b'mu'uchar, this is a get mu'uchar, ein abal mafsid perus mishas chatima. The Baal doesn't lose the perus from when he signs it. So when he signs it, that's not when he loses it. Ela mishas hazman. So according to Tosfos, this is Tosfos Shita in get mu'uchar. We're going to have a three-way maklokas. Get mu'uchar, Tosfos, is that he loses the perus from the time of the zman. To ein roy legaresh bo, because this whole get is not fitting to divorce someone with. So natan la alter, even if he gave it to her immediately. The ein hagerushin chalin ad hazman. So this is Shittas Tosfos, that a get muuchar, the gittin doesn't happen until the actual time that's written in the get. So you write in a get with a date later, you give it to her, the get doesn't chal until the גירושין. The whole גירושין doesn't chal until later, and so too he doesn't lose the perus till later. So therefore, of course, Tosfos is not chayshish for this get muuchar, because the get muuchar, he doesn't lose perus, or he doesn't screw the woman over for perus, because he's still married to her till then, and he still gets the perus until that's man. So therefore, get muuchar is not an issue for Tosfos. Therefore, Tosfos doesn't ask about it. So Maklokas Rambam and the Ravid. So get yishlava edem v'ein bo zman, or it's a mukdam, or muuchar, or shekta biyom v'nechta b'layla shalach ra'af al-bish oiskem bo to Indian, or ketavet to get b'Yerushalayim v'tol b'lev kol elu puisalim ad she yachnu bo zman v'kasavnu b'mokim kasavnu. So Pashas here the Rambam. It's just so Tosfos says that the get muuchar chals at the later time. The Rambam says the get muuchar is possible. Why is it get muuchar possible? Because she loses the perus. Since she loses the perus, then it's a possible get. So that's the second sheet. It's get possible because get muuchar doesn't do anything. The Ravid. So I guess sheyesh alav edim ve'ein bo zman or shehayi mukta muuchar. So toeh bo muuchar. So here's the Ravid having a go at the Rambam on muuchar. You make a mistake with the muuchar. Shehu kosher lehina sebo. So kosher lehina sebo mean it's a good get. She can get married because it's a good get, so therefore she can marry someone else. V'lo tema lizman haget eila kaima kita bebeisdin. Or shenatan lo be'edim. V'lo hisker es icher zman muteres li naseh miyat. So according to the Ravid, the get chals immediately. So we saw that in Tosfos, it's chal at the date. Rambam says there's a chal at all, and the Ravid says the chal's miyat. Lefi She'eno yechol lekalkala, because he's not able to destroy her. The Amarani, so again, this is strange lotion. Amarani, she'oichel es peruseya ad oito zman. Ve'ena goyva kasuva ad oito zman. So again, this is the Raivachita that you don't get you eat the pears until the echor zman. Shelakach ichor. So it's like a tanai that he's making with her. Hareas migreshes from today. If I can eat the pears for 2 months, so that's the shittas of the Ravid, where you get with the get muuchar that you get divorced immediately and then you eat the pears until the day that's on the get, which is mechorashinian. Like, how can you be divorced in the night? He says it's like a tanai. Then the Rosh says that you can't force her into the tanai because you're bal korche, you give the get bal korche, and therefore you're stealing her gesakak in the space. Anyway, this is the shittas of the Ravid. That's again, there are achronim on it who aren't happy with the shittas, but it's like a more complex idea that you're migareshes miad, and then you get the person until the date. But even with that shita, l'chayr, that would go good for Tosfos, that you're not worried about writing a later date, because if the date is later, so it's just a tanai, and therefore he gets the pairs anyway, so we're not chayshish for it, and we're only chayshish for it. So any bekitzer, we're only chayshish for the only chayshish for the get mukdam. We're not chayshish for the get ma'uchar in Tosfos. So the next Tosfos is yesh bo zman ve'ein bo ela eid echod. So this is the with the third case. Lemandamar kosav yado ve'eid sheninu. So again, this is what does it mean, eid echod? So eid echod has to have something else in it. So it's either the baal is like when the eid, tana kasav yado ve'ein elav eidim. So then why do I need the first case? According to the person who says it's kasav yado, so we've already had this in an eid echod. Why is that any? So we've said that kasav yado without eidim is good. So for sure kasav yado with an eid is good. So tana kasav. So why do I need them? Lashmilin da filo hachi havlad kosher. So that's b'di'eved, it's kosher even without the eid echod. And the seifot embo ela eid echod filo hachi lo tinaseh lechatchila. I would think that one eid echod and the guy would be enough for it to be a good get lechatchila. No b'di'eved. So it's just basically the idea of b'di'eved, and so they're both middle cases, even though they're in the same case. According to Tosfos. Yesh bo zman nira hu adin de'ein bo zman. So yesh bo zman, and ein bo ela eid echod, even if it doesn't have a zman. So why does it say zman? Yesh bo zman lo tinaseh lechatchila. So even if it doesn't have zman, it's still got the same din. But just going to say that even if it has zman, he's still not lechatchila. Because again, all these gets are b'di'eved kosher, so we're learning the gets between not posel and not deraisa and not lechatchila. Now we get to Rabbi Eliezer Oimer Filu in Laved, and this is the Seifa. Ve'im tema dilma davka kasav yado or be'ed echod. The Iri Tanakama Makshir Rabbi Eliezer. So maybe Rabbi Eliezer isn't going on all three cases. He's only going on the first case or the third case, because the middle case is Yeshalav Eidim Ve'ein Bozman. So they have the preparation there. So we're trying to learn that Rabbi Eliezer doesn't have Eidim. So maybe he's only in the first and third case. The Yishlaimer the Haloshin Afilu Ein Elav Eidim Mashma de Ein Elav Eidim Klau. So now this is Tosfos saying that how are we learning that Rabbi Eliezer doesn't need Eidim at all? So he's learning it from the Seifa here of Rabbi Eliezer Oimer Afal Pisha Ein Elav Eidim. So this is where Tosfos is getting his raya from. Again, we said before that Rashi holds the rayas from Ein Elav Ve'im Nisas Kasav B'Sad Yado Ve'Ein Elav Eidim. That is where Rashi is getting his source from. Now, if let's have a look here in this right. V'ha shalosh gittin pesulim. Dekach hashiv perch batra. V'chad menaihu ein elav edim. So which one of the three is ein elav edim? Right, so it doesn't have edim. So one of them doesn't have edim. Right, so it's not the middle case. Yesh elav edim. It's not the middle case. Right, the third case has eid echod, and the first case has no edim. It has cheschav yadu and no edim. Right, so Rashi is learning that one of them has no edim. That's the first case, and we're saying that Rebbe Eliezer does not need edim b'chlal. Right, so the Tanakama says when there's ein elav edim, the Tanakama holds that it's posel b'di'evet. It's kosher b'di'evet, posel lechatchila. And then Rebbe Eliezer comes to say kosher lechatchila. Now we have a problem here. Ein elav edim is a case of kasav yado. Right? So Rashi holds that kasav yado is not edus. There is not called edim. Tosfos says ein lecha chatima gedula mizu. Rashi disagrees with this whole idea of Tosfos. Tosfos is saying that ein elav edim, the Baal Atzmo Kativ, where that is the chatima. Rabbi Eliezer Sover v'kasav, that's the chatam. So he says that he has the chatima, so he has the edim on the get. You could be mechalek and say no, it's not edus, it's only a chatima. We're not going to go akadekach, but you have that so Tosfos has the edus, because again he's saying that how can time of the apostle, because you need edim, maybe because maybe it's davka kasav yado, right? In a maybe kasav yado he's arguing on. That's enough. So Tosfos is holding this is called edim or an edus, and Rashi holds it isn't. So therefore Tosfos can't use Rashi's reason for that Rebbe Eliezer is arguing about, and therefore he needs his other reason that Rebbe Eliezer at the end ein elav edim klal. And Rashi can't use Tosfos' reason. Sorry, Tosfos is like struggling here. Maybe he's davka on these things, so he's coming to like an answer here that there's another thing for edim. Whereas Rashi is kind of cleaner, just saying no, this is the first case, doesn't have edim, and therefore Rashi holds that Ketzav Yado doesn't have edim. So according to this, it should be clear that Rashi can't hold of this idea of ein lecha chatima gedula mizu because he's called that case ein elav edim. So he's holding that case. So if he held it ein lecha chatima gedula mizu, he can't prove it from here. So we had then in the Rashi on the Mishnah here, in this Vlad kosher, Hai Tana lav Rebbe Meir Sfarle Damar Edi Chatima Karti to the Rebbe Meir Havlad Mamzer. Bang. Now here we have a quote from Tosfos. V'laman demukila b'gemar Rebbe Meir ika lememar de Katav Yado kamei edim domi. But Rashi, we're seeing on there on a Gimel Amud Beis that Rashi doesn't hold of that. Rashi holds that's called ein elav edim. Therefore he doesn't hold of this, and therefore we go to the Aleph in the Bach. He takes it out. Rashi, Im Nisas, Rebbe Meir, V'leman Demuki, Me'edim Domi, takes it out. So according to the Bach, it's good. Yeah, because that's Tosfos Shita. If it Tosfos the Perakama. Yeah? Halacha Kula Farish Kach. That's Tosfos Shita. So Rashi doesn't hold of it. So therefore, to add that in here is very difficult because on Gimel Amud Beis he doesn't hold of it. So when you take that out, then you have the Bnei Yehoshua saying that it's not really Rebbe Meir, and it's just they agree to Shitas Rebbe Meir in this specific thing, but Rashi's holding that that's not called Chatis. So how can he hold Me'edim Domi? How can he hold of that svara? So this makes this Rashi more difficult. Because we're still asking on Rashi, how can Rebbe Meir, they're saying it's Rebbe Meir. So this Gemara, in a certain sense, is going like Tosfos in Lechach Chatima Gedola Mizug. So it goes like Rebbe Meir over there. So Rashi's a bit more difficult, but this is a clear maklokus Rashi Tosfos as to what exactly the raya of Rabbi Eliezer is. Is it from the first case, or is it from him arguing at the end? So this is the last. It's only tikkun oilam mashma de boy mesir lechud de be'edi mesir lechud sagi. So mesir lechud is enough because the oilam we don't need choimtim, we don't need for tikkun oilam. Therefore, if there's no choimtim at all, it's enough with mesira at all. V'nira l'ri daf lechatchila machshir Rabbi Eliezer be'edi mesira. So lechatchila you don't need the you don't need the chatim at all. Kaperish b'kontras midakatani lekaman ein koisim ala nair mochuk. So this nair mochuk is basically a get that you can be mizayaf. If it's mochuk, so then if you write on it, then you can cross off whatever's on it, and then you can't see that you wrote it out. Like if it's on fresh paper, you can tell if someone's scraping stuff out. But if it's nair mochuk, you can't tell people are scraping it out. The Chachamim Makshirin, and the Chachamim say no, it's fine. And Amarman Chachamim, it's Rabbi Eliezer. So Rabbi Eliezer is Makshir, and Rabbi Meir says you can't do it if it can be Mizayef. So therefore Rabbi Eliezer is holding that Ishtar Mizayef is good if you could Yichol Mizayef. The Amar Edi Mesira Karti, Umashma Makshirin V'Koisvin, that is Lechatchila. Aditanan B'Shoylech, Hitkan Rabbi Gamliel Ha'edim Choitim Al Haget. So it seems like here we have a takana of Rabbi Gamliel that the Edom are chointim aleget. It's not that the takana is to do so. Ele tikun sheyalmed lehem. It's a takana that's like an eitzah toiva. I mean a takana that helps people. Lasot kain shelo yisrachu leedim misira. They don't need the edim misira, so they need to have a raya that the star and the get is good. But if they boim limsor lechatchila edim misira, then there you can be saimach. So you can be saimach lechatchila on just the edim misira. So then that's the Tosfos. So back in the Gemara, so Eila Rebbe Meir, so we're going to say that really the Mishnah is Rebbe Meir. The Kilo boy Rebbe Meir Kasiva Lishma. So where does Rebbe Meir not need Kasiva Lishma? Midaraisa, Midarabbanan. Rebbe Meir needs a Kasiva Lishma. So again, Rebbe Meir is going on the Chatima, but Kasav is on the Chatima. He doesn't need the Kasiva. So therefore we say, but the Rabbanan he does need the Kasiva Lishma. So V'ha'amar Rabbi Nachman Oimer Haya Rabbi Meir Filu Matzu Be'eshba. So if you find it Be'eshba, now the Eshba obviously is not written Lishma. So you find the Eshba V'choitmo V'nasan Lo is kosher. So V'choitmo is it's lechatchila. You can take it out of the Ashba. So you do the Edim. The Edim go on the get on the from the bin that were written for someone else. It's good. So therefore, it's here lechatchila nami kosher lachtom. So it's lechatchila for Rabbi Meir, and therefore we can't use Rabbi Meir is in the Mishnah. V'kitema ana midaraisa kamat nisan la. If you say that we are doing it deraisa, that Rav Nachman was given his din. When Rav Nachman was giving over the words of Rabbi Meir, he was talking to Raisa. And therefore Rabbi Meir would still need it to Rabbanan. Ihachi oimer haya Rabbi Meir. What's this oimer haya? Davar Torah mi boile. So the way that we're giving over is that oimer haya Rabbi Meir, Davar Torah, you can take it eshba, you take it out of the eshba. And give it again. The Rav Nachman is a Namayra. He's there to explain. Lemeimer. That's what he should have said. Dehave leila Rav Nachman to Amayra who leferusha. He should be Poirish lemilta. To lo tipa chorba mine. So if he's teaching to Raisa, but really the Rabbanan is no good. So therefore, I'll hear Rav Nachman's story and I'll screw it up because I'll start doing it because I heard Rav Nachman saying it's okay. But he was only talking to Raisa. So therefore, a churban could come out of it. Lemismi hachi amar haya Rebbe Meir davar Torah afilu matzah. He should have said davar Torah so that I would know this isn't the halacha. It's just bedin deraisa. So therefore, Ela, we reject the idea that it's Rebbe Meir. Oilam Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Eliezer's our mission of a kilo boy. Rabbi Eliezer chatima hechetelika edim. Where does Rabbi Eliezer not need chatima? Where there is no edim klal. Hechetelika edim, but where once you have edim in the document boy, therefore he does need. He needs a proper chatima to Amar Rav Rabbi Abba moed Rabbi Eliezer to mezuif mitoicha shehu pasul. So Kloimar, Rashi says the Kloimar. Kilo chatime sahadi aleya klal shapir tefei mehashta. So that's better. So it's because he's a kilo boy, is a Kloimar. It's better if you don't have any chatima at all. But when you do have chatima, v'shalo lishma to have ele mezuf metoichoy. So kilo boy Rabbi Eliezer, like proper chatimas where there's no chatima at all. Therefore, we're good. We don't have to worry about the edim on the chatima. But edim, he needs them to be lishma because if they're shelo lishma mezuv metoichoy, it's a postal in the get, according to Rabbi Eliezer. So even though Rabbi Eliezer is going after the edim misira, where there's a postal in the get, there's a postal in the get itself. Therefore, he goes mezuv metoicho shechatzam alav karav apostle or shelo lishma. So you have a karav apostle that's in the get, that's done the chatima, then it's no good, says Rabbi Eliezer. And I would think that Rabbi Eliezer would maksher if there's a apostle, because who cares about edim? So when there's no edim, it's better than having edim that are apostle. Therefore, he needs a shelo lishma, and that's how we can have the Mishnah like Rabbi Eliezer. Therefore, once there's edim in the get, and maybe you did it for the tikkun olam, now you need to come and say that I need them lishma. There had to be chatima lishma also, and obviously you needed a kasiva lishma because Rabbi Eliezer needs a kasiva lishma because kasav is on the get. Now, Rav Ashi now comes. Rav Ashi Omer Hamani Rabbi Yehuda. This is Rabbi Yehuda. So the Tana Rabbi Yehuda poiser lachetehei kasiva so vechatima betalosh. Like, and we started off with this maklokas of between tolosh, that when you write it betolosh, whatever you write in betolosh, that's like the apostle part. You can't do that. So if you need the lishma part as it's still mechubor, so therefore it's no good. And you need to, whatever you need to do lishma needs to be on the tolosh. So Rabbi Yehuda is quite easy because he needs nichtav, the ikar of the get to be lishma, and he needs chatima to be lishma. So therefore, Rabbi Yehuda will be our Mishnah that says you need to say both bifnei nechtav bifnei nechtam. So the Gemara asks, Mikara my taima lo mokminin la Rabbi Yehuda. So why didn't we not say this originally? So we say Ma'adrin Rabbi Meir, Distam Mishnah Rabbi Meir. So that we try to find the Mishnah like Rabbi Meir. When we failed in that, we didn't make the Mishnah like Rabbi Meir, but we tried to because the Stam Mishnah is like Rabbi Meir. Hamadrin and Rabbi Eliezer, the Kaimalan Hechta Kavasa Begittin. And then we're trying to find the Mishnahs like Rabbi Elazar, because the Kaimalan the Halacha is like him in Gittin, which we'll see in the Toisus. But since Halacha, so the pashas of the Gemara here, Baha Milta, it's only in this matter. To below Edim Chomtin Kasher, because they're holding my Edim Mesira, the Hachi. That so the high milta that we don't need the Eidei Chatima, we just need the Eidei Mesira. So that's halacha like Rabbi Eliezer over Eidei Mesira. That's what the Gemara says. You see what the poskim say. Mekara amai lo mokim like Rabbi Yehuda the Tarchinan umehadrin. That we're trying to find. We spent like a daf there trying to fit it into Rabbi Meir. V'kitema kama lishna lokmek Rabbi Meir or Rabbi Yehuda. So why do we say all this stuff, Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda? Because there are reasons. Now the nafkamina comes out here. So whether Rav Ashi is giving his opinion, does he disagree that the Mishnah goes like Rabbi Eliezer? And therefore it goes like Rabbi Yehuda, and that's Pesach of Rav Ashi, or is he just giving like a different opinion? Now, the Pesach of Rav Ashi is that the Mishnah is going like Rabbi Yehuda. Since we poskin like Rabbi Eliezer, we're not going to need the din of our Mishnah. Therefore, our Mishnah is not al pi halacha according to Rav Ashi, depending on how you learn that Rav Ashi. So therefore, will come out in halacha whether you can use Rav Ashi as a sniff, as to be mitzdaref, that if someone doesn't say b'fnei nechtam, that since halacha is like Rabbi Eliezer and the Mishnah is not like Rabbi Eliezer going to Rav Ashi, so then we don't necessarily have to hold by that.